Do we have lots of Spider-Man E3 news? Do we have news about certain composers? Is Luke Cage on in 3 days? And is today my favorite guest ever on Marvel Movie News? Yes, this is Marvel Movie News.
Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk. We talk movies. And now, here's Popcorn Talk's Marvel Movie News.
Excelsior to you, our Merry Marvellites. That is proof we do this show live. My cat is a bit camera shy. That's right. Today, Spidey Cat is joining us live in studio for glorious Marvel Movie News. I did try to Dr. Evil that intro, but my son was very nervous. So welcome. This is episode 185. We are my lucky number away from 200 episodes, which is crazy. You can subscribe to us at iTunes, That's how you do it. Just go to iTunes. You can subscribe to us at YouTube at youtube.com/Popcorn Talk Network. You can also find us through Popcorn Talk's website, popcorntalknetwork.com. Follow us on Twitter at Marvel News PTN or at Popcorn Talk. Find us on Facebook, which we rarely use because it is complicated and hard to follow because there's a lot of stuff and it's mainly for politics and your family to tell you about their cute kids. And it's tricky, or more likely Twitter. And if you retweet a link whilst we're live, Aunt Manthony in the booth will retweet you.
I wish I could track how fast you say words.
That
was incredible.
Many have tried.
Yeah.
My God.
It's like some people have typing per minute. It's just speaking per minute.
Right?
Yeah, my SPM is off the charts.
I forgot what I was going to say, and I was just like, wow, look at his mouth go.
It's all that Yellow Wolf, Tech 9, MGK, and Eminem, man. It's just, I got ready.
Nice.
And I also, this is stuff we got to say, and I want to get through it quick so I can introduce the lovely Maria Menounos.
Yes, that's me. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Maria Menounos.
And joining us on the desk today,
Hi, me, Amy Cassandra Martinez. I am so distracted by Spidey Cat, but this is the best day ever. Yeah, you guys can find me on all social media at Amy Cassandra MTZ.
and joining us for the very first time, not only my son Spidey Cat, but my girlfriend Sheena Lee on the Cosmic Couch. So she will be cat wrangling today, Spidey. There's so much fan art of Spidey along with the show, I felt like he needed to be a part of a show. So, episode 185, Spidey Cat's debut.
Yeah.
So handsome.
Yeah, he's
So,
just like chilling out
He's
right
just
now.
chilling. He's just being a cat. He's just doing his
Yeah.
thing. Oh, that's perfect.
Being
You can see him in
soft
the
and sweet.
frame. So we'll periodically ask Spidey's opinion about subject matter. I'm curious what he thinks. And we're going to start off today in honor of Spidey Cat with Spider-Man. Now, Spider-Man, the game, is coming very soon. It's been in the makings forever. It has us all very hyped, and one of us has played it. Aunt Manthony, could we see the feelings?
Okay, so I've played Spider-Man on PS4. I'm here at E3, and oh my God, y'all, this game, it's absolutely glorious. They don't pull any punches with it. It is literally the Spider-Man game that you were hoping for and that they are giving to you. One part of this demo, there were these armed thugs in a car. I jumped on the car and webbed them out of the car. There was this entire sequence. I am so excited for people to be playing this game. The gameplay itself is intuitive and the controls are so great. The action is fluid. This is everyone's Spider-Man, and I am so excited for this.
She's excited.
Yeah. I was just like, oh my God, what am I gonna say? I'm just gonna start saying words. And then those are the words that came out. Yeah, no. And then we have a gameplay video. I guess we can talk over it a little bit. Oh, wait, is this the gameplay video?
Yeah, it's like a demo.
So you can see just how insanely, like having not played it, from the outside perspective, how intuitive the web swinging is and how, like, the game feels like what the comics feel like. And I just love the amount of villains and stuff. What was it like actually playing Spider-Man?
It was really good. For those that have played Spider-Man 2 on PS2, it's a lot like that in the sense that it was such a really great game, and that they get the web slinging right. That is so important. If you remember back when with Spider-Man games was just like you shoot a web in the sky and it attaches to something. Or there were Spider-Man games where you literally could not walk on the ground. Like it's like if you went too low, it was just like you have to restart up.
Oh no!
Like because we
didn't program the street.
The neighborhood doesn't have floors. That's hot lava. The street
floor
is hot lava.
Hey!
Yeah. So, but for this, it was the graphics are there, the humor is there with the Spider-Man, and like I was saying with the web slinging, it's definitely a part, and it feels so expansive. It feels like you can literally go anywhere and you can do the main story whenever you want to. So that's something that I really enjoyed about
And
it.
I love the suits. I love the villains. I love the animatics. Like I love the story mode and then cutting to the gameplay mode. It looks pretty seamless. I love the character design. A lot of people have a problem with the white suit, and it actually came up in our live chat. To me, it makes sense. I know it's not canon, but if the world is so dark, you need a focal point. So the white looks like it's a texture issue. You can like see the character better, which I think makes sense. Because I've seen people play Arkham, and I lost Batman sometimes. One, I'm not a gamer. I'm a side scroll guy. So when it goes 3D, I get
You like
lost.
platforms.
Yeah,
Okay.
like Sonic's my
Platform
guy. I
games,
like to
yeah.
roll. But I'm excited for this one because this is gonna get me back into gaming, and I'm so glad that it's as good as it looked that you've played it now. Like someone I know has
Yeah.
touched this game, which means it's as good as I've heard. And I can't wait to find out who the sixth member of the Sinister Six is. I thought the trailer was great to allude to like another one. It just looks so damn bomb.
Yeah, and they in the demo they had a boss fight, so you fought. Well, it was just the demo. It's probably not going to be. But I think it was Shocker.
Cool. One of my boys. I love Shocker.
I think it was Shocker. This was last week and a long time ago. I just remember being really excited about this. But yeah, for that particular battle, the camera angles, and I even talked to somebody like before I played it, and they even said like, yeah, the camera angles are kind of weird. And then the camera angles were kind of weird during that boss battle. But this was just a demo,
Right.
kind of
So it's
thing.
evolving always.
And that's picking something really small out of this really epic size game. So for you, Coy, that you bought a PS4 for
the
this
purpose?
game, perfect.
Yes.
That was a really great decision.
I can't wait. And then I can go back. I can play old games again. I can rediscover things. I can and like gaming and comics are so like tied together. I feel like there's like comics are here, wrestling's here, gaming's here. There's like this Venn diagram of nerddom that I've just been missing like at least a third and arguably 2/3 of it, because like that's the nerd community. So I'm really excited to at least understand a piece of it. And in the live chat, Gamer Girl, the black and white guy, is Mr. Negative, who's a Dan Slott villain that came around not too long ago. By day, he is a charity running helper of society that's friends with Aunt May, and then he's actually also a like a leader of gangs and crimes, and it's kind of like the Doc Ock parallel to the 60s comics. So he's a fun character. I'm glad he's not the big bad because he doesn't have as much like decades of backstory, so I'm excited to see who the big bad is. But to me, this game looks bomb. What do you think, Andy?
I'm excited about it. I don't know if I'll be able to play it since I don't have a PS4.
Sometimes you gotta dig deep in those pockets that all that Disney shill money I got. Still waiting on it.
What?
Whenever
Oh, that's funny.
every show we do.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for my Inhumans money.
Yep,
So,
still waiting on that show money.
Anytime, waiting for
whatever that check goes through.
Yeah, but for some of the drawbacks for Spider-Man 2, one of the huge drawbacks for it was, not for this game, Spider-Man 2 back PS2, was that people would be like, well, the side quests would get extremely repetitive. There's only so many times that you want to deliver a pizza, take a picture, or, get someone across town to save on their commute. Or to the hospital.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I'm hurt. I need to go to the hospital. Like, dang, how many
played that
people
game.
are hurt in the city?
Take care of yourself.
How many people have to be
Yeah.
all the way across town? So it didn't feel like this was just the demo. I only did like maybe 3 different missions, kind of a thing in it.
Cool.
But it didn't feel like it would be repetitive like that. I think they learned their lessons. So.
And the world building, like especially with the new technology and after Arkham and all these like the lessons of game growth, I can't wait for this one. And Spidey Cat, what do you think? You excited? Is there a Spidey Cat DLC? Someone in the live chat asked. Oh, good,
yeah,
he's
there we
excited.
go.
He's ready.
He's excited. Yeah, he's loving it.
So Spidey's ready to play. Spidey's ready to share my attention from the PS4. I'm sorry, son. It's gonna be a lot. I'm just gonna sit and game. Cat and Lab's gonna be glorious. It's
gonna be great.
So in the world of music, Captain Marvel, the composer, is somehow the first Marvel movie scored by a woman. I had not realized in all of the 20+ films there had not been a female composer. Huzzah! So we have a female composer on Captain Marvel. I cannot pronounce her name. I'm going to get it wrong. Pinar Toprak, is that maybe?
I think it's Pinar, but
Pinar? Okay.
I don't know.
Pinar Toprak, congratulations.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to hear this. We have some of her other work. She scored Krypton, which you can hear here.
Yeah. So, which is a
gorgeous.
DC show. That's right. Amalgam Universe.
Yeah, we're talking about another thing with happiness.
I told you cats love me.
There's
Cats
this
love
Spidey
me.
coming over to say hello.
There's something about me and cats I know. Maybe I'm Catwoman, or maybe I will be. Maybe
never
I will
know.
become
You never
that.
know.
Who knows?
there we go.
But the proper Halle Berry Catwoman. Yeah, more like an Eartha Kitt Catwoman.
Yeah.
I kind of want to pick him up now.
He's very
yeah,
friendly.
and also she scored Fortnite, and I just want to say really quick, with this year, it seems like we're hitting a lot of firsts. And on the one hand, it's like, oh God, really? It took this long to have a woman just score a Marvel movie, and then also it's like, hey, finally happened.
Yeah,
So
like it's a celebration. I think
it's like nice.
perspective. Like, we
yeah,
got
like
that.
first female cinematographer, Rachel Morrison. And then Black Panther hitting just about everything. So it's like, yes, I'm glad that all of this is happening now, and we move forward into the future.
Absolutely.
And it's also kind of shocking to me. I think I'm in the maybe not majority of us that think like, wow, really, this hasn't happened yet? This is a first?
Yeah.
Well, about time.
It's
Like,
interesting
I
when you
didn't know
realize
that.
it's the first. Yeah, like 20 movies in, I wouldn't have assumed that was a thing. So it's cool. And now that barrier has been broached and we can keep going. Like Kevin Feige said that was going to be a focus of his, and this show's man of his word, Kevin
Yes.
Feige. Beautiful hats. So now the Spider-Man game comes out September 7th. Just wanted to mention that in case you guys didn't know. If you're watching the show, I assumed you did. Comes out September 7th. Whereas the Captain Marvel movie will be out in 2019. Very excited about that. But before Captain Marvel comes out, we had a little movie called The Avengers. And Avengers Infinity War just made $2 billion. Good God. I needed you for that, Spidey. I needed you. So, $2 billion. It made $1 billion in, what was it, 11 days?
11 days.
Whoa.
Nice.
That's an insane amount of money.
Can you tell that we were rabid for this movie? Because we were foaming at the mouth for it.
Oh, boy.
Uh-oh. Someone's come back to the table to play. Oh, it looks not as shy. Not as shy
He's getting
now.
used to the room,
That's all,
getting used to
you
the
know
smells.
what? All it was an Infinity War.
It was. There was,
Excited.
there was an
Yeah.
Yeah,
Infinity
he was
War.
excited.
Oh no, he doesn't feel so good. Oh no!
Oh, no, Spidey! Spidey's okay. He's right here. So, I'm sorry, podcast listeners. I'm very excited my son's here. My AC in my apartment broke, and it's very hot in Los Angeles today. So Spidey is with me for safety. So if there's any time you're driving and you hear me just make sounds, it's Spidey Cat related. So Infinity War has passed $2 billion. So that means it only took 48 days. That is an insane amount of money. It hit the 1 billion mark faster than any film, and now it is at $2,136,398 as of like 2 days ago. So it's at more now because people have seen it in the last 2 days. It has joined the very rare film club at $2 billion, joining 2009's Avatar, which finished its run at $2.78 billion. So I'm hoping this is the first movie to make 3. I'm hoping it gets a
Yes.
re-release because Avatar got a re-release. Titanic, which is number 2 at $2.18 billion, got a re-release. I think before Avengers 4 comes out, they should get a re-release, clear that $3 billion, make all the money. Because I'd love the 1-2 punch of these. Like the way Infinity War ended, I'd love to see it right before going into 4, like have that, and then healing, hopefully, depending on how it goes.
No, I think it's gonna be a whole lot
Just
of gut
more
punches.
We're just gonna
Sadness.
cry.
Gut punches,
a
but
lot.
humor.
Yeah,
and
light in the dark.
it's gonna flip the script. There's gonna be an undusting, and then goodbye your OG
And then gone
characters.
forever.
Yeah, and then
Oh.
Bucky's gonna be Captain
No.
America.
It's gonna be 5 hours
either,
of rough.
Either that or it's gonna be Falcon.
Yep, they're
become
gonna come
Captain
back,
America.
and Cap's because the phrase that really stood out to me that time we watched it on IMAX was, "We don't trade lives, Cap." That kept coming up, and I was like, "Oh, at least Cap's gonna trade a life."
Oh yeah.
Like that phrase was said more than once, and they don't waste words. Marcus and McFeely are brilliant, so that I think that expression is going to be a through line in the 4th one. So you're right, like it's gonna be rough. It's gonna be 5 hours of just so it gets re-released, breaks $3 billion, and then so that's 1 and 2 are both James Cameron, and then 2015 Star Wars: The Force Awakens made $2.06 billion. I do think in this run, Infinity War is gonna pass Force Awakens. I think we'll have it. It'll be in the top 3. Because that's at only 48 days. It is in that top 4. That's incredible.
It's still going. I mean, Incredibles 2 is did
Man,
180 million. Yeah.
Highest animation of
180
all
million.
time.
Wow.
Even adjusted for inflation, which I always check for.
Yeah.
So Citizen Kane made a lot more money than it looked like because the movies were like 50 cents. Adjusted for inflation, it's still the highest grossing first weekend. That's awesome.
We'll see, and also Infinity War came out at the beginning of summer, and Force Awakens came out in December. So it depends on that as well.
Oh yeah, release is so important.
Right?
But like those are the 2 big seasons, so like they both had their right time to shine. And like Black Panther came out in the off season up in like Deadpool restructured that time, and then Black Panther's like, well, I know where I want to go, and then it's just
right
in February. So I mean, it's been really cool to see Marvel structure what the year can be. It's not just 2 seasons anymore. It's crazy. So it is not superhero fatigue because friggin' Incredibles 2 showed us.
You know, in
I'm
fact,
so sick of hearing that expression.
term just doesn't make any sense.
Like I feel like
at this
Deadline and
point.
Variety just like saying that expression. Like there's so many articles that are like,
I think that
"Eh."
if they say it enough times, then they'll eventually be right.
Yeah, one movie's gonna do poorly and they're like, look.
See, we
So
told
look
you.
at what we said.
Like when
we did
Deadpool
the
2
thing.
made like 10 million less than 1, they're like, fatigue! And I was like, or,
It's like,
you know,
no, or
it
it's just,
made $500 million
that's like a really
real
good
quick,
amount.
an R-rated.
Yeah, it's like with Ant-Man and the Wasp, I know we're eventually going to
we'll
talk
get
about that, but it's like with a projected for 75 million, and I'm just like, yeah, that's pretty conservative. You know, I think it's going to do better than that, but pretty conservative.
And that cost like, you know, in the 100, 150 range. So, oh no, it makes all of its money back in 10 days. Like these are all incredible statistics. Many movies don't get to that point. So fatigue's a silly thing. Now, speaking of Avengers 4, Hawkeye is obviously coming back. I'm not sure. It is news. USA Today is talking about it. Other people talk. Yes, Hawkeye will return. I believe he'll be Ronin. There is the rumor going around right now. There is a solo standalone Hawkeye movie. That would be interesting. That has been popping up for years. That is apparently the newest rumor.
Do we want that?
So the thing with me with Hawkeye is Jeremy Renner is so good at bringing heart to scenes with the group. I don't know if we need just him. Like, I'd rather see Jeremy Renner the man do other roles. Because, like, Hawkeye to me is a great character, but I'd rather see a Black Widow movie that has Hawkeye in it for, like, 10 minutes.
Yes.
The thing for me, Amy, go ahead.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think even not seeing him in Infinity War, obviously it shook a lot of us, but we moved on. It's okay. So we missed him a little bit, and we're going to get him in Avengers 4, so I don't really know if there is a need for him to have his own movie when we have so many other characters that haven't really had that time to shine.
And he's been, like, in the MCU since Thor. He's been there a long time, and he's been in a lot of things in that smaller capacity, and then when he does shine, he shines. So I see why people want it, but I also, like that Boss Logic poster with all the Hawkeyes, like, where Hawkeye is everyone. Like, that's obviously something I love Renner, so that's something I want, but at the same time, like, is it something we need more than other things? I don't think more than other things.
For me personally, I have no need of a Hawkeye movie. In particular because Hawkeye, I like him as a juxtaposition with all of those other superheroes. He is a family man. He's really good at shooting arrows.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
The best.
cool. He's the best at what he does, and he does his best when he does, and he does it with a humor and a sarcastic wit, and that's great. I don't need him in his own movie because also as cool as that character is in like Avengers and the such, it wouldn't be as special if it was just him in an action movie, if that makes any sense.
Unless the 2 ways I'd want it is a Black Widow movie with him as a supporting character, and that wouldn't be a Hawkeye movie.
I would be on board
That's
with that.
exactly what I wanted to say. That's exactly what I wanted to say. Yeah, I
Yes,
would love to
right?
see him in a Black Widow movie. Yeah.
And
That
like,
would work.
second to that, a Kate Bishop introduction. Because I love the Kate Bishop comic. There's a Kate Bishop comic that ran for like 20 issues that unfortunately got canceled. That was like a very West Coast comic. It was set in Santa Monica, and it had a very different flavor. And it was cool because you'd do this thing where you'd go into her perspective, and you'd see like Target, civilian, ice cream sandwich, blah, blah, blah. And it would give you her POV, and it was this really fun read where it was like this simplistic art style that was really beautiful, and it was a very lively comic, and Hawkeye was kind of like this doofus that like got in the way, but also was a mentor. So it was fun because he's like this mentor, but he's also like the Hawkeye that thinks he's way cooler, but she's way cooler. So I'd love that Renner being like, now that he's in his 40s playing that role, I'd love to see like the mentor Hawkeye.
The other way I would want a Hawkeye movie is if it was Ronin and we just, went into, was it Salt Lake City Avengers or
Great Lakes Avengers?
Thank you. Great Lakes.
Very
Salt Lake
specific.
City.
Only in Salt Lake City.
Specifically.
We live in Salt Lake.
Salt
we defend
Lake
it well.
City. Crime capital of the world. Salt Lake
Rough
City.
neighborhood, Salt Lake.
Oh my God.
But that world, like that
It has been a long month.
But Ronin, like a Lethal Weapon, Hawkeye and Black Widow, like vigilante on the edge, I'll take. But otherwise, like definitely a different thing. So if we can go to the wide, my son has decided it is time to join us in the game.
Yeah.
So, also in the world of Avengers.
Yes, we have a cat on the desk.
We do have a cat on the desk.
Oh,
it is my
so
favorite guest ever. I love you, Spider. We've had some great guests, but Spider Cat. So in the world of going forward in the cosmic realms, Guardians of the Galaxy 3 has a bunch of stuff gearing up, and they're basically talking about how it might take place before you think it does. It might take place before Avengers 4, which... I love that they're even lying, like teasing us, or that this could happen. Like, we joked about how, like, what if every sequel takes place in those 2 years between Civil War and Infinity War?
I think in their case, 4 years.
Between.
Between.
Because that happened 6 months after Guardians 1, so there's a 4-year span. How
that
amazing
a lot of stuff
would it
could
be?
happen.
You get the whole team back, and they're evil.
Oh, what? They're evil. I like that. They're evil. No, it's like for it, I'm okay with it being a volume 3 with Warlock, with Gamora being like for realsy. Okay, at this point, Infinity War's been a while.
Oh,
like
yeah.
Gamora being for realsies gone, and then we have like this whole spirit world kind of thing that happens with Warlock. I would be really happy with that if we did that, and it would be heartbreaking to visit a Star-Lord like after all of this. But then also, it doesn't really make sense because when you think about it, Volume 3. They're basically all gone.
Yeah, and that's tricky.
So then it's like, yeah, you might have to just visit that 4 years.
So they actually said, quote, here's the thing, I think it's important to remember anything is possible in the MCU. Just because there's a sequel in the books doesn't mean, people become accustomed to time moving linearly in the MCU. That doesn't necessarily have to be the case. There's a lot of very inventive ways where the story can go. Sneaky, sneaky. Then Joe Russo added... there's 4 years between Guardians 2 and Infinity War. That's a long time and a lot of Guardian stories to tell. Again, as Anthony said, don't expect everything to move forward in a linear fashion in the Marvel Universe. Now, that also talks about Captain Marvel, how it takes place in the 90s, time not moving linearly. We already know
91's such a hip year.
Because it's like the 80s isn't over, but 90s hasn't really begun. It's that beautiful, like, what is, like, I love 91.
Stonewashed jeans, Guns
lot
N'
of flannel.
Roses, tuck in the shirts.
But you'll
kind
still
of
see
thing.
shoulder pads and slap bracelets. Like,
Oh, slap bracelet.
They're both, it's like that perfect, yes.
Mesh of both.
So
Yeah.
I love the idea of them at least teasing us with that concept. Spidey's right here. He's catting. He's catting real good.
He's catting real good.
Now, Venom. In the world of Venom, I am its loudest, hopeful defender. It's going to be a rough October if it doesn't turn out to be good, because I've been defending this since before Tom Hardy. Now that Tom Hardy's on it, I'm straight cheerleader. Venom could possibly cross over with Spider-Man, but don't expect to see him. Now, this is a very Venom-only story, but the director, Ruben Fleischer, said, quote, this feels very much like a Venom movie. It's the introduction of the character. As to where it will go in future movies and who he'll run across, I can't say. I mean, yeah, that's a great way to tease audiences, but what does it really mean? Further saying, quote, here's what we're doing. All these characters are a part of the Marvel comic book universe. In that universe, they are all related to each other. Kevin Feige makes characters in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. These characters are separate, except for Spidey, who belongs in the MCU, which is why he's there. So, yes, but, like, what do you guys think that means, these vague quotes?
I don't know. I mean, I understand we're all a little bit hesitant, but like whatever happens, happens. Obviously, the movie's basically done. So I just think we need to just be open-minded and see what happens with it. And we're obviously not going to see Spider-Man, but if there is that possibility in the future, then maybe that'll bring people to it.
And John Schnapp thinks he's in this one. Like, John Schnapp will swear up and down.
I think when Pascal made that comment way back long ago that there's going to be some kind of Spider-Man presence in this movie. I'm not saying that it's going to be Spider-Man in an outfit like battling Venom. I'm not saying that.
Right.
I'm saying, but like maybe like news reports kind of a thing, or there's an awareness that there is Spider-Man in the world kind of a thing. That would then be enough for Venom to, once he's penetrated Eddie Brock's reporter's mind, to be able to then be like, oh yeah, that looks good. I'll mimic that kind of look for it. So I think that might be what they mean by Spider-Man presence. But we will be finding out really, really soon. I mean, it is only the 6th month of the year, and this will be in the 10th month of the year, which is...
The year's half over.
Yeah.
What in the world?
2018. We're as close to New Year's as we are from New Year's. Good God. That's terrifying. I'm not ready for time to keep moving.
I'm sure that's 100% right.
That's so weird.
No. So, I mean, in like 12 days. because the 30th is halfway. But still, that's too soon.
It counts.
In 3 days, we get Luke Cage, which we'll talk about shortly. But before that, we need to talk about the movie that no one will be cheerleading, Howard the Duck. Leah Thompson.
Did anybody here see Howard the Duck? Like, everybody's seen Howard the Duck?
The original.
The
Yeah.
original.
Oh, yeah. It's real.
Okay, so it's just me and you, Coy.
Yeah, there's some sexually
Okay.
charged moments that don't make sense.
It starts out, oh my
Hot and heavy.
God.
It's also a George Lucas movie.
They like you know like that Skinny Cow, if anybody's seen any of those commercials or any of that product, and
Yes.
they have the cows that
Yes.
are extremely sexualized, but it's an animal, so what are you kind of doing? That kind of happens at the
Very
beginning of
quickly.
Howard the Duck, like very quickly. So you kind of get that over with at the beginning, but then after that there's an alien that you battle.
Yep.
And,
Cool.
you know, he's a musician.
What does he
My God.
play?
This movie.
I think guitar?
I think he played guitar and
I haven't seen it in
piano.
so long.
I think I remember
Okay.
him doing piano, keyboard. I
It
think he
came
played
out
keyboard.
before we were born, but I have seen it.
Yeah,
it came
I
out
have seen
in
it.
'86. I probably saw it in
Yeah.
like '93.
So yeah, like most of the movies I've seen, it was like sometime in the 2000s.
Yeah.
For some reason or other, some group of friends, but yeah, Howard the Duck.
So Leah Thompson of Back to the Future fame was in George Lucas's Howard the Duck. Let's not let George Lucas off the hook here. And now we do have Seth Green playing Howard the Duck in the Guardians canon, and I would love to see Seth Green as an insane, weird duck anamorphic
Yes.
human creature. And Leah Thompson is pushing for this movie, saying, "quote I love Howard the Duck, the person. I love the duck. I love the duck in the movie. Maybe I took my part too far, and now I still love the duck. I wish that he had had his due because I don't think they have the technology to do Howard the Duck well. So I hope that Marvel does do another Howard the Duck and does him proud." Yes. So they then asked if they think they'll make another movie, and she said, "I don't know, to tell you the actual truth. I'm going to Marvel to pitch Howard the Duck a new movie in 3 weeks. I want to direct Howard the Duck remake. Why not dream big, right?" You know what? If anyone's gonna make it, it's Leah Thompson. She's got the heart. She's invested. She clearly loves the duck and the person, and I'd love to see Leah Thompson direct. So, sure.
I mean, she's not ducking around.
She's a real. And now that
There
she's
you
up,
go.
she's a real
Oh my
mother
God.
ducker.
Oh my god.
There you go.
Yeah.
I could see Netflix movie of it. You
Oh, that'd be
know,
fun.
something that that works.
And
I
Seth
don't
Green
know
would do
how
it.
it would do in theaters, but on stream,
Yeah,
why not?
it'd be fun.
We'll see. Just the idea of Seth Green possibly
Yeah.
doing that role, I'm in. Yeah.
Because that moment was so exciting in Guardians 1. Like
It was unexpected.
It was weird,
That was
too.
the thing. It was just like, oh, they own the rights to Howard the Duck. That was my experience with it, because I was not expecting
Because he
that
was
at
full
all.
like smoking and like I love that they went Howard the Duck like in the comics. Like he's more wholesome-ish in like a lot of iterations between the movie and now. But Howard the Duck is like a crass character. He's more Deadpool than like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. So I really like the idea of this like chain smoking detective-y weird duck. Sure. Anthony, would you watch Howard the Duck?
The original?
But then would you watch one that came out?
Oh, if it's Seth Green, I mean, no, wait, what was that? Seth Rogen?
Seth Green.
Oh,
Howard
it was
the
Seth
Duck.
Green.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Then yeah, I would love to. He hasn't done much in a long time, or at least anything I've seen that's mainstream.
Yeah.
And I was a fan of his Robot Chicken and everything, so I would love to watch it. And it's especially like who they get to direct is like a really curious thing too.
Yeah.
Like who would be able to handle Howard the Duck, you know?
I mean,
Well,
Leah
Leah
Thompson,
Thompson's
she's
saying-
lobbying for it. She wants it.
all right.
And
Well,
Seems
she's
like
been in
she's
the
the only
game
one out there
making
saying about it.
moves.
So.
I mean, we don't
Yeah,
need,
he's out.
we don't really need it, but I mean, we didn't really need a lot of these movies, so you know, I'm
Yeah.
down.
And her kids
Yeah.
are both actors, and they both have great careers. Like her kids are fantastic, so they could play, they could be in the movie. And Leah Thompson's been in the game for so long. I'd love to see her direct. Like she's been acting for 40 years, so I'm weirdly in. So moving from film to television,
Ooh, hey baby.
is it TV time?
Marvel movie news. We're talking TV time.
Hey, you cats love me.
Oh, yeah, Spidey's over
Spidey
there.
Cat was over here like, hey.
He keeps coming over and being like, no, he's going to try to put me on camera and running away. I'm like, Spidey! So Luke Cage had a music featurette drop, and I have spoken very plainly about one of my first things in Luke Cage Season 1 was introducing me to so much music I listen to this day. So let's check out this music featurette.
Paradise was a place that would coalesce all these different musical influences
Yes.
and be at the center of the show.
I love that they made it like part of in canon that people play. Like you get like a music variety act in the show.
You just feel the black experience.
Yeah, it was like you know how we talk about New York and Harlem being that fifth character. Well, like being an extra character with this. It's like this is another side of that. Oh, and there was your favorite one,
Jidenna, man.
Yeah,
I've seen Jidenna 3 times. I own all of his music.
Oh,
like
wow.
Jidenna became one of my top 10 rappers. We saw Jidenna at a club at like midnight, and it was one of the craziest audiences I've been to in LA, and that's saying a lot. Because he just did a random. It was him and Janelle Monáe. And like
Yeah,
wow.
she did. I think the one that they did together was Yoga.
yeah.
Yeah.
But she did the whole show with him. She duetted with him, like her dancers, like because he just was a pop up. It was incredible.
Play with Black Panther.
To be a part of this world is like a dream come true. The little boy in me is like, finally. It's a great place. It's a great venue.
And I love that they made the music of the show, like you were saying, such a character, because now this featurette is as good as a commercial as anything for me as a fan of the music in the first season.
There's so much to Luke Cage season 2, like to grip everybody. If it's not the music, then it's going back into this world where there's like this political upheaval with a bulletproof man.
Yeah.
All of the social commentary that comes with the black experience, and then like delving into that. You have Cheo Hodari Coker did a great job with the first one. Everybody agrees that second half needed to have a different direction. But when you see like that focus that they had, I believe y'all played it last week where they were highlighting Mariah.
Yes.
Yep.
It's like, yes, that's perfect. You know, make her more into a cottonmouth-like character.
And learn the lesson.
You know, someone that he can't punch his way through.
Because it's politics, and politics is a problem in this environment.
Plus, I love the term, was it Dark Chocolate Boy Scout? That was fantastic.
So I'm excited for season 2. It drops in 3 days. What are you guys most excited about? What's your big moment? Is it Bushmaster? Is it the direction? Is it the music? Is it finding out what Luke Cage has been up to? Is it Heroes for Hire? Is it Daughters of the Dragon? Is it I got 7. What else we got?
Yeah.
Yes.
I want to see if Iron Fist comes out.
No.
No, I personally.
Sorry, that was
Came from the heart. It's okay.
Yeah,
no.
That was like a shock to her.
Sorry.
I personally love their chemistry together, especially in the Defenders.
Yeah, Defenders, like the 2 of them was amazing because he just kept giving him crap being a privileged white boy and not knowing how to hide himself. Like, and then it was a commentary in the first season of Iron Fist's flaws, and it was very like, look, we messed up. Look, we messed up. So I think bringing him in and making him a better character in the other shows would help season 2. So I see the merit.
No, I don't, because it's Luke Cage's show. So I don't want Iron Fist in there. I don't want Jessica Jones in there.
Well, Colleen's there, right?
There was that scene. Was that Luke Cage or was that Iron Fist that we were
Luke
saying?
Cage.
It was Luke
Iron
Cage.
Fist doesn't have anything out yet.
with that, what?
Iron Fist doesn't have any scenes out yet.
Got it. So with that, yeah, I like that Daughters of the Dragon moment, and I especially liked the vulnerability of Misty Knight being aware of. She no longer had her right arm, and then still compensating for it, and Colleen being like, "Yeah, so what are you gonna do then?"
Yeah.
Yeah, so I enjoy that a lot. I guess just about everything. Mariah, Mariah, I'm really looking forward to because you don't get that kind of villain.
Yeah.
You know, especially this villain that considers themselves a hero.
Right.
You know?
And that's
So
what I said about
I love
Bushmaster.
that.
Is Bushmaster, I want to see a different take on that kind of character. And a friend of the show, Jay Washington, said that Bushmaster is like amongst the best Marvel villains. So that's high praise, because now that Marvel, like, Phase 3 Marvel villains were all pretty solid. And Loki and, I mean, Killmonger, 1-2 punch of Killmonger Thanos. When you now when you say one of the best Marvel villains, the bar is so damn high. So I'm excited for Bushmaster personally.
I'm excited about the music.
Yeah.
And also just this show feels so different from everything that Marvel Television's doing that I want to be back in that space. I want to be back in Harlem. And I mean, Mike Coulter, hello. Big fan of his. So yeah, just being back in that and seeing people kick butt, you know. what we expect from Marvel Television and everywhere.
And that's out in 3 days.
Yeah.
So on Friday,
Yeah.
you can binge away this weekend.
Binge.
I think what we typically do is we try to have the show watched before Tuesday. Lately, that's been very hard, as the Legion commentary we're about to dive into.
Yeah.
So it might be
Ugh.
spoiler-free this Tuesday, and we might do full spoilers next Tuesday. That'll
It
give the
is-
audience 10 days. That'll give us 10 days.
So prepare for that possibility if the title next week just says spoiler-free review as opposed to spoiler review, just because weekends have gotten crazy.
And actually, speaking of weekends, you'll be able to find... are you going to Vegas?
I haven't decided yet.
So maybe
Ooh,
Markeia will be joining us in Vegas at Fantastic Con.
Amazing Con.
Amazing.
Amazing,
Is it- I thought it was
amazing,
fantastic.
loss, amazing loss
Amazing
with
Con.
the Triceratops.
Is that
on it.
Triceratops? I remember. I just call it Triceratops
amazing,
Con. if that would help.
amazing Los Angeles Comic Con. I believe it's
A
called.
amazing Los Angeles Comic Con in Las Vegas, which
For-
I'm going to, but should learn the name of, is the
Collider
29th
Heroes.
through the 1st. The Collider gang is all going. The Heroes gang, a lot of us are going. Markeia might be going. I'll be there. The 29th, 30th, and 1st. The 29th is a Heroes panel. Like, so if you want to see what Collider Heroes is like live, that'll be a thing on the 29th. And then we'll be there all weekend. We're doing a bunch of meet and greets. Drunk on the streets of Vegas Friday, because I'm going to try to heal Saturday and Sunday. I got realistic goals with my liver and my expectations. So if you're in the area, if you're in Vegas, if you're close, I'll be there. Markeia will probably be strong-armed into going. I'm going to convince her.
Between him and John Schnapp and Amy,
Yeah,
no,
but
Amy's not going.
Amy can't
but-
go Friday, yeah.
Yeah, but between the two of you, it's a possibility. I'm not going to say no at this point.
Tweet at Markeia. So we might be there. I will be there. So I will see you there if you're in Vegas. I'm terrified of the heat, but excited to meet you. Now, Legion is a show that is so dense that I have to sit and watch it like a book is being read, and I love that about it, but in that, I have not had time. So, I promise you, we will be covering Legion in a giant, like, we've talked every episode about us watching it all at once.
Yes.
I think Markeia and I are about the same place, like, halfway
through.
Hey!
Halfway through.
Yeah.
Halfway
Good.
through, and then halfway through that episode that's halfway through. So that's where it is right now. And oh my God, my favorite so far of the halfway through is the one where it's like what I think it's called like chapter 14, part 7, where it's the multiverse one.
Yeah.
Where it's like branches upon branches upon branches. I was like, yeah, that's fantastic. That's where I live. I love anything like that. I mean, time play is excellent. I love multiverse play, and I love that they did that. And I really love the outcome of that particular episode. It's like everything, and it was almost like a little bit like Dollhouse meets oh God, what's that one? Dollhouse meets her name is Taja Marie. No, it's not. Clone Club. Black
Orphan Black.
Orphan Black.
There we go.
It
We
was
got
like
there.
Dollhouse
Yes.
meets Orphan Black for me.
Yeah, that
for
level
seeing
of
that.
weird, but with the
Tatiana
pattern.
Maslany.
Yeah, Tatiana
Yes.
Thank
Maslany.
you.
Tatiana
Oh, I love
Maslany?
her.
Yeah, she's fantastic.
Tatiana Maslany.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm so great at
goddess.
names and titles.
I mean,
As
it's a
y'all
lot
know.
of shows.
Before we go to Cloak and Dagger, which we all have watched, in the live chat, there's been a few questions. Sky Patterson, I totally get it. We're catching up ourselves. But Braden said, is the TV show Cleanup Crew still a thing? Damage Control is not a thing.
Yeah.
Damage Control was before Spider-Man Homecoming did it. Damage Control was an idea they were going to have like a sitcom Fox situation a few years back. As far as I know, that was shut down. There's a lot of shows that get started and don't go anywhere. As far as I know, Damage Control is a thing. And I thought they handled that storyline really well in Spider-Man Homecoming. So it'd be hard to kind of like, hey, Damage Control's involved and not Michael Keaton. Like, it's kind of been touched on. So
Yeah.
just wanted to touch on that. Now, Cloak and... Actually, before we move on to Cloak and Dagger, Legion.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then real quick, just to knock it back to Luke Cage and with Legion, a couple of people in the chat room were saying that they are going to wait for Legion because they want to binge it.
Yeah.
They want to binge it completely.
Make your brain just melt out of your ear.
Yeah. There's a comparison to Westworld with it that maybe if you binge it, you'll understand it altogether.
Waiting week to week, I've definitely had to go like, have I seen last week's episode?
Yeah.
I'm confused. And then when you're not sure, you feel more confused. You're like, am I lost or did I miss a week? Like, it's hard to... So I totally get the merits in watching it all at once and just having the craziest 14 hours of your life.
Yeah, I'm at the point where, the guy that can change people's minds is whispering in ears. So...
Yes.
I'm not there yet. I'm only halfway. I'm not halfway to halfway.
I'm halfway to
You're
the halfway.
past half me.
That's exactly where I was like, I gotta go.
Gotta go.
Gotta go.
So,
Amy?
your farther.
Yes. So the finale was just last week,
Mm-hmm.
and I was one of those people that it was very difficult to make it through. But I have to say that the finale just knocks it out of the park, and there is a character that comes back from previous episodes.
Spoilers.
No spoilers.
No spoilers.
Yeah, right. And it's worth it. It's really cool. My favorite character, I would say.
Cool.
But,
I'm excited.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
It's cryptic.
I'll see what
but-
happens when we get
but
there.
Yeah.
Now, a thing I have been watching because...
And we will get there.
And we will get there. We will. I
We
I
will.
swear to you, Marvellites. A show I have been watching, especially since it's more bite-sized and it's easier to not have to stare at and dissect. I love Cloak and Dagger.
Yes. Oh, I've seen all 3 episodes.
Three so far.
Three
Yeah.
so far. And I am so on board with
Real
this.
good.
Oh my God. Because I know Runaways, a number of people in the chat room were saying that started filming today. If so, we love you, Runaways cast, and yay, season 2. But for Cloak and Dagger, which you can see on Freeform, the level of care that they took with building this world and making it uncomfortable for you at the same time is what I really enjoy. With Tyrone Johnson's experience, yes, it is very unfair. It is very unfair to be a black person or a black man in this world, and they touch on that. It is very unfair to be a female in this world, and they touch on the things that Tandy goes through with that, and it's very unfair to be a teenager in this world because people will take advantage of you. They will not pay attention to you. It's like, oh, you don't know what you're saying. No, you don't know what troubles are. That kind of a thing.
You're old enough to be taking responsibility, but young enough people don't trust you.
Yeah.
Like being a
There you go.
teenager is like, you're an adult, handle this responsibility. You're not an adult, you can't do this. It's like, I'm an adult, what do you want?
It's like, what do you
It's so
expect from
And
me?
the show captures that, I think,
Yeah.
really well.
Yeah, I like the pacing. I really like the color palette that they
I
did
love
with that.
the
with
visuals of the
yes.
show.
Yes, I mean,
Their power set looks so
slam dunk.
Yeah.
Slam dunk with this.
The dagger and his it looks like a like ink and water, and I love that the air kind of feels like ink and water. His darkness. I love the amount of times they've made stuff out of the cloak, like the different cloaks and like the visual representation of the blanket. The moment the blanket was around him on that roof, and it was just straight up comic panel, and it was billowing, and I was like,
Yes.
like that was one of those stand up and cheer moments, and when you can accomplish that in a show, I actually stood up in my apartment and just started like, they did the thing, because it felt like Maximum Carnage. It felt like when you watch read a Maximum Carnage and they pull out and Cloak and Dagger are there. I love that imagery, and for me, it's everything I wanted it to be because we loved Runaways so much. This feels like it lives in that world of Runaways.
Yeah,
And
I see that.
it feels definitely like the Netflix Hulu flavor, and I love that Freeform didn't make it. I love that Freeform's like, hey, we're not a kids network. There are teenagers boning in this truck. I love
Pretty
that
much,
they
yeah.
established, and that they didn't make that guy a dick. As soon
No.
as that
He was
guy,
Liam is a nice person.
because they started in the moment
He's
he
a criminal,
was
but he's a
thief.
nice person.
Yeah, and I was
Yeah.
like, how easy would it
heart.
be to make this guy she's just a girl and she's a thief? Because
Just so tired.
That's the
So
trope.
tired of that trope.
That's the thing is they made him compassionate and help her, and I was like, oh, this show's writing doesn't play on tropes; it plays on the opposite of expectations. And I've really enjoyed the fact that I'm always guessing about what a character's choice is going to be.
Also, I spoke with Olivia Holt and Aubrey Joseph, in real life, and they were just so appreciative of these roles for
Good.
them. They have been Marvel fans for a long time, and they understand just how big a deal this is. That even Olivia, she said that when she got a call from Jeff Loeb,
Yeah.
he said, "Okay, I have 3 words for you. Welcome to Marvel." And she was saying that
that's
story.
amazing.
She had chills, and she was just, when you're a part of something like this, you have to know that, dang, this is a big deal, and you need to respect it.
Yeah.
And they do. And
Yeah.
I think that's what makes it even more beautiful.
Well, that's what I love so much about Ryan. When Ryan comes on the show, Ryan's Ryan
Yeah.
Sands, who's Jeffrey Wilder on Runaways, is now a friend because of Marvel. I love
Yeah,
how
he's a pretty cool guy.
Crazy.
I love how that the Marvel world
And
brought us
talented
together.
with his art.
Yeah, no, he's so and designing shoes and so many things. I love that Marvel brought us together, and then that guy who's loved comics that much his whole life got to play someone in Runaways. I love when people that are invested in the world then get to be a part of the world, and it sounds like she's that. And I really love the Runaways Cloak and Dagger world. I'm at Runaways season 2 is filming now. I'm so excited for season 2. I'm so excited to hear from Ryan about that madness. I think we're in a really good TV zone. It's the first time in my adult life, and I was talking to Amy Dallin about this on Heroes, that it feels like when you go to the comic store, there's the spinner rack, but it's your TV. It
Oh,
feels
yeah,
like
yeah.
when you used to the comic, or when
I like
you
that.
still go to the comic store and you're like, I want to feel this, I want to feel this, this is me. And like right now you can go like, Preacher, Cloak and Dagger, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., all different feelings, and you can just experience comics. And this is
Yeah.
the first time they're all of quality, so it doesn't feel like you have to choose like darkness, lesser, light and fluffy, lesser. Like, they're all good.
Oh yeah,
Isn't
and they're
Humans
all
In different ways.
massively different. Also, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. season 5 is on Netflix now, so if you haven't seen
So
it,
that's fun.
binge it.
Something to keep in mind with people that are Runaways people, and then they're transitioning over to let me check out Cloak and Dagger. Keeping in mind that Runaways was basically telling 2 points of view at the same time. It
Yeah.
had the parents, and then it also had the teenagers, the Runaways, and the such. For Cloak and Dagger, it is their show, so
Yeah.
it is being told from their point of view.
Focused.
It
It's
is
very-
focused on there. I mean, you do interact with parents, but it is their point of view. So keep that in mind when you are watching this. If, for instance, you have a I'm not even going to go there. So yeah, just keeping in mind that it is all from their perspective, and they are trying to figure things out in a world that kind of feels like it's against them.
And
And
that's-
and it's in New Orleans, and I think they really do capture that.
Yeah.
While with Runaways being set in like Brentwood,
Yeah.
Los Angeles, they really do capture the flavor of New Orleans. In my experience, I've only been there like twice and only remember most of it. Part of it.
New Orleans does that to you.
But it was the people were epic there. Really enjoyed, and the food.
All the food.
Food isn't real food in LA compared to New
Yeah,
Orleans
New Orleans got
food.
some
I will say
food.
that.
So I'm really enjoying it. It's only 3 episodes in. It's a great show to catch up on now. It's really good. It's a little lighter, so that's one we'll fall an episode or two behind, but we'll be able to talk about like we did today without it being like, let's dissect the minutia of. And it's fantastic. I also, before we go on to our Merry Marvellites, want to bring up something awesome that happened at the MTV Movie Awards. I'm not sure if you guys watched the MTV Movie Awards, but did you guys happen to see the Black Panther thing that happened?
I saw that Black
I
Panther
heard
won
something.
something.
So, Chadwick Boseman, I'm so
know
glad I get to
that.
share this with you guys. Chadwick Boseman won the Best Hero Award
Yes.
at the MTV Movie Awards. It was presented by Olivia Munn and Miss Zazie Beetz. So, Psylocke and frickin' Domino presented Black Panther an award. That was how my brain saw it.
Excellent.
So it was this really cool moment of like, look at what's happening. So he accepts the Best Hero Award, gives a very sweet speech, thanks the fans, runs around, claps, and all the while it's Chadwick Boseman, so he's regal. Like, there's just,
Yeah.
he has that ness where you're like,
got that quietness
oh,
to him.
whatever I say feels like a decree.
Yeah.
But then the coolest thing happened for me was James Shaw Jr., who is the guy who single-handedly stopped the gunman at the Waffle House. You probably heard about it briefly, but not enough because there wasn't nearly enough coverage about it. This show is not getting into politics. I'm not going to dive into that. I'm only going to say James Shaw Jr., no matter how you cut your politics, is a hero. He saved lives. He took a gun out of a man's hand with his own bare hands and burnt his hand on that gun while wrestling a gun away from someone and single-handedly saved lives. Hero, period. Hard stop. This man was at the MTV Movie Awards. On stage, Chadwick Boseman stopped everything and said what a real hero is James Shaw
got
Jr.
chills.
pulled him up on stage and gave him the award because he's the true best hero.
Yes.
So, best
Yes.
hero of the year at the MTV Movie Awards was Mr. James Shaw Jr., and I just want to give a moment of appreciation for a man that saved lives with his own bare hands because that's what a hero does, and I want to give a thank you to Chadwick Boseman for not just recognizing that, but for being a leader that we need, being a man that shows us how to be better. So, thank you.
That's so beautiful.
Well, thank you. Huh?
Yes. And
Oh,
knowing
yeah.
when to
Story.
share
Yeah.
that spotlight.
It
most
meant so
definitely.
much to me. Like, seeing that
Yeah.
moment, I was like, I haven't had a reason to watch the MTV Movie Awards in 20 years. So, like, that was a really cool thing to have happened. So I just think that leaving the politics out of it, that was a beautiful thing. So that was.
That's yeah.
Pretty
So
damn
everyone,
cool.
watch that clip. I tweeted it like 10 minutes before the show, so it's on my Twitter. It's a really cool thing that happened. So, any of this news you guys want to talk about before we move on to Merry Marvellites?
No, I think that with the Incredibles 2 coming out and obviously Ant-Man and the Wasp coming out soon, I'm just really excited for everyone. I think that as myself, I haven't really been into comics as long as a lot of you guys have, but it's been so nice to be able to really experience these movies like one after the other,
Yeah.
Infinity War and Deadpool and all of this. So I hope that you guys, like venture outside of your comfort zone.
Yeah, I think it's important.
Yeah.
Anything for Merry Marvellites? We had a light news week, so I wanted to see. if
Yeah,
you
yeah. It
wanted
was
to,
pretty light news week. I'm trying to think if there's anything else? I'm trying not to mix it up with DC stuff. Because, as our title is. Okay, but I will say this one thing. So at E3, I did get to play Lego DC Supervillains, which is adorable. And it's there. It really is. I very much enjoyed that. I like the customization of it. And I'll put capture up on my Twitter because right now I don't really have a place to be able to do all my DC stuff. I know Coy and I are trying to figure that out
because it's it's a thing.
Amalgam Universe.
Yeah.
But
I love talking DC.
If you
They're
like
killing it in comic trade.
Yeah, that animated and but yeah, for video games, yes, get Spider-Man, obviously get Spider-Man, and go ahead and get Lego DC Supervillains. I'm definitely going to get it. It's because the customization of it, you can do where it's like okay, so one of the first powers that you get is you get a heat ray. Okay, so it's like you can decide, does that come through my eyes? Is it this hand? What's the color? What's it look like? I mean, I just love that and then put that together with the Lego game, and I'm on board. So once Marvel has a Lego Marvel supervillains, then we'll talk about that, and I'll play as Thanos and Killmonger.
Yeah. I'll be Loki and just mischief my way through the game.
Yeah.
All the news we talked about today, anything that jumped out to you?
The only thing that I was thinking was Cloak and Dagger, to bring it way back. But I'm really loving being able to discover their powers with the two of them, and I'm loving that we're 3 episodes in and we're on this journey with them instead of it being like, these are these characters and this is what they do. Now we're gonna go save people. You really get to you're with these teenagers who are exploring themselves and discovering this weird, crazy thing, which is what your teenage years are.
Yeah.
And you get to be on that journey with them. So I'm really enjoying the pace that Cloak and Dagger is doing, and I love that. Thank you.
Anything as a non-comic person that not confused you, but all the stuff we talked about, are you like, what is that, and how do I what?
Oh,
you know what
God. I mean, I usually just ask you immediately.
That's true. That
That's
does help.
true. I know nothing about comics. I rely on him completely. No, I'm killing airtime. Go.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm glad you're excited about Cloak and Dagger.
And then find other E3 games that you should pay attention to. Shadow of the Tomb Raider, definitely. If you've never heard of Dragon Quest XI, it's a fun, action RPG, fantasy RPG game. What was another one? There was Hitman 2. I'm gonna be back into the Hitman series things because I played that one also. And Super Smash Brothers Ultimate.
I mean, always.
Always. Okay, and now Merry Marvellites.
Now Merry Marvellites.
Now Merry Marvellites. Shout out to Ken from Chicago at Ken from Chicago. Some call me D at Darren Jacques. Yes. John Salito at John Salito. Christopher Witt at WB Caw. Dominic Ficuli at D Faguli. Michael Nortz at Here's Mikey. James Fergan at JL Fergan. Shidohari at Shidohari. Winston executable at X Winston. I know him from Hyper RPG. He's always in the chat room during 10 Candles. Welcome. Comments and questions from Ryan Street at Rybread8484. This isn't Marvel news related, but it is Marvel related. I keep hearing small bits on shows about people being upset about the renumbering of the Marvel comics. I don't fully appreciate the debate as I've never heard the whole story from either side. Discussion for the show.
That would take about an hour?
Yeah.
All right.
I've got strong feelings. Actually, I'd love to hear your thoughts, and then I'll give mine. As a non-deep comic person, and as someone that collected, intermittently, I'd love to hear the different thoughts.
So the question is, so there was a certain number, and there was an order, and they changed.
Spider-Man has been Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3. They always go back to the old numbering system. So Spider-Man, for example, this Wednesday, number 801 comes out.
Okay.
In 3 weeks, Spider-Man number 1 comes out. They renumber to number 1 with a new creative team. All of the legacy of 801 disappears. So obviously, I'm being very subtle about my thoughts.
Yeah, and then, for instance, Black Panther dates back to 1970s, I think, is when it started. I don't think that was 60s. I think it was 70s. And it just recently released a Black Panther 1 with Wakanda in space. And that was on May 23rd, I want to say. So when you have something that's like that chunk of a time of like comics, and then you so you have people that are like, oh hey, so yeah, well, for me, I'll say Christopher Priest, the client, and then within that run you could be like, oh yeah, volume 17, which is such and such this, while when there are people that when you renumber everything back to one again, then it's like,
There's
what
like
is
7
it that
number
you
ones.
mean? So that's what the discussion is.
So the two sides are, one side is number ones bring people in. There's so many people right now, they're like, oh, Amazing Spider-Man number 1. I'll pick that up because I know I can just jump in. The other side is, there are now, I think, at least 7 or 8 Amazing Spider-Man number 1s since 63. So my opinion is, and what's also going to happen is, there's Amazing Spider-Man number 1, they're probably going to get to like Amazing Spider-Man 79, and they're going to look at them ending on 801, and then all of a sudden it's going to be Spider-Man 880, because they're going to want to get it to 900, and then there's going to be a few months of it going back to the old numbering system, and then it's going to get to be too big again, and then they're going to change it back to number 1, and I'm going to have a seizure.
That's why it's such a huge discussion. So people that are all about the sequential order and have been, bulk, collecting comics or their particular character, then it's like having these ones, and then there's people that are like, well, there's a mountain of comics. What in the world am I supposed to start with? Let me start with one. So that's what the discussion is.
It's intimidation of the big number.
No, because as someone who like wants to start getting into comics, you have to respect everything that's happened. So you might be like, okay, you know what? I'm not gonna read 800 comics, 800 issues, but you can start wherever and just, kind of ride that wave.
There's 2 sources you can go to. Actually 3. Google and see when a new arc started by just looking at like new team, whatever. Your local comic shop guy, if you have one close by, if you live near a comic store. Now, I know a lot of you don't. The more I'm on the internet, the more I realize local comic shops are hard to come by. So 2 is a little tricky. Or 3, us. Keep the numbers alive. I think it's important. I collect, so I have long boxes. If my long boxes suddenly change to a new number 1, I have to get a file thing. I put it in there. It says new volume. It drives me nuts. I take it out when it goes back to the old numbering. I like my numbers, so for me.
And especially like with Marvel movie news, we're at 185.
That feels so much better than number 1 again, volume 4 this year.
Yeah.
Like, what if we renumbered every year? What if it was 1 through 50
No!
year 4?
Well, actually, we would probably have to start numbering from when cast changes happen.
Yeah, when Matt leaves, be like, issue number 1.
So like 3 years ago, it would have been back to 1.
Like, and Matt Cook leaves, I'm here. It's a new number 1.
Yeah.
Exhausting. So I personally,
well, when you think of it like that, but I also like the accessibility of it, because then there's also, if you tell someone, be like, oh yeah, Marvel movie news, here's episode 185, they'll be like, I'll get around to it sometime.
That's tricky.
Or it'll be something like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Oh yeah, there's 5 seasons. Be like, I guess I'll start with season 1 sometime.
What I would do is I would have 801 as the number, and then in parentheses a new number 1, and the volume underneath, and I'd have like a setup so you could see a system of where to jump on. Like, this is a new creative team. This is number 1 with them. This is volume 5. This is the original legacy number. I'd start a universal system of what all of the important relevant information is, but that's also tricky to get a system.
This is
That's
such
just
a
a lot
huge
of
discussion. It so is.
I say stick to the numbers, guys.
Such a
it's
huge
important.
discussion.
I feel like you're missing out on other big landmarks. So are you telling me that Spider-Man's never gotten to 1,000 issues?
Not yet, because they keep...
What the heck?
Action Comics has.
Action Comics
instance, they got to
Action
1,000.
Comics started in the 40s, so they had more time.
There you
But and the other thing is, Deadpool just got to 300, and like the last issue of Gary Dugan's run was 300. A new team of Scotty Young. Oh my God, is it good? If you like Deadpool, the movie, the new Spider-Man, the new Deadpool is in the movieverse. It's very much Ryan Reynolds' character.
What?
So the new Deadpool number 1, Scotty Young's writing it, feels like the movie. So if you love the movies, it feels like the movie. But that's a new number 1. So we just had 300, and now they're like 1. So it's maddening.
No.
Anyway, any other questions of note?
This is from Ken from Chicago. Will Coy and Markeia cosplay as Ant-Man and the Wasp?
Only if I'm the Wasp.
If somebody wants to hook that up for me, then I will totally cosplay as the Wasp. Or Ant-Man. Either one, I'm cool with.
Anthony's in the booth right now, just like, no.
I always cosplay. You guys just don't see me.
Yeah, you guys don't see Anthony.
Each and every time.
He's in Ant-Man garb right now.
He's this big.
And I think we got one more.
And then from J Soap, at J Soap, if Comcast ends up getting Fox, do the Marvel properties revert back to Disney anyway?
That's what I've heard.
That's what, that's what the scuttlebutt is, but Honestly, I don't see Comcast being, they're a company, they're a business. If they end up acquiring it, they're gonna want to at least have some of that Marvel money for a while, if not always
And the
owning
Hulk
it.
just gets more complicated because
And
Comcast owns
more
the
and
Hulk.
more complicated. More and more complicated.
That's the
complicated,
rumor,
so.
but I'm not a lawyer, and we get asked that question a fair amount. and
We
there's
do
just-
get asked that question a lot. Not certain. I know what I would do in a business sense, but then also Comcast doesn't have the I'm not going to say the business acumen, but they wouldn't know how to handle Marvel if they acquired it. I don't think they would. And then I'm completely of the camp and of the mind that no matter what, Disney will end up with Marvel. It's just a matter of patience and a matter of money.
Yeah, and they have both.
Yeah.
So, time will tell. I believe that is all of the Marvel movie. Yep, see, I'm done with the show because I can't speak. Anything you guys want to plug before we take off?
Sure, go ahead, Amy.
Well, you guys can find me on Geek Bomb Stuff. I do things there. It's fun, it's nerdy, and there's a new video that I just edited and wrote, and it's about Ant-Man and the Wasp. So a little backstory for that. Also here, you guys can see me on Box Office Breakdown, Marvel TV Weekly on AfterBuzz, and there's another one, Netflix Picks on AfterBuzz as well. And you guys can find me on all social media at Amy Cassandra MTC.
Boom.
Okay, I've been doing a lot of RPGing lately. I don't know if you've seen on my Twitter and then on my Instagram, and I've added cosplay elements to it. That's why my hair is like this. I am playing a magic girl tonight, Sailor Moon RPG. That is going to be twitch.tv/hyperrpg. That's at 7 p.m. Pacific time. So however you want to convert that in Google, PDT, PST, PT, everyone that you put in Google, it comes out to the same time. So there's that. And if you're in the Hollywood area and you love improv, I'll be doing improv this Thursday night with my one of my groups, Black by Popular Demand. So that will be and look on my Twitter. So I'll be posting about that, and my group Essence Improv will have another thing coming up. And then I will be defending my roguelike championship. I won the title last week. I'm not completely certain how I did it because I was not explained all of the rules to the game. But it is basically it's basically just an RPG D&D kind of style thing with hidden agendas, and the chat room gives you characters, and I had some pretty fun characters. My first character was Son Goku, and then my second character was a 3-headed monster named Hela. So yeah, it's super fun, and check my Twitter, and I have the time for that, but that is also at HyperRPG. So Twitter and Instagram, MarkeiaMcCarty.
And I finally can talk about the thing I've been doing, so I've actually got something to say for once. Arena is a game that I host. It is called The Arena. It is Mammoth Meanie is The Arena. It is much like a phone trivia game, but with teams. So you join it, you play it. I'm one of the hosts of it. It is 3 times a day, every day, 21 games a week. It is so much fun, and I am the full of your phones. I'm reading you questions, you guys are answering, and the best thing is we like literally just PayPal you money. The money is real. It comes right at you. So looked up The Arena. It is one of the top, and we just announced it, and it's already one of the top 50 apps in iOS, which makes me so proud. So one of the biggest apps in the world. I am one of the guys running. I'm very proud of it. So check out The Arena, and I also have my Insta reviews, and I also will be at, thank you so much, Amazing Con in Vegas is the name of it, and Mr. Rob Liefeld's coming. Louis Tan's going to be there. Charlie Cox, who is Daredevil, is going to be there. Jason David Frank, the Green Power Ranger. Brianna Hildebrand, the One Punch Man guys, and Ed McGuinness, who is the art inspiration for my tattoo, is going to be there. So I'm going to talk to him about my tattoo. There's so much glory. So that's in Vegas, the 29th, 30th, and 1st. I'll be there. Marquis is getting kidnapped. So tweet at me. I love you guys. I can be found at CoyJandreau on Instagram and Twitter, and we'll see you guys next week. Thanks.
Bye.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of its owners or principals.